Hello everyone, and you're watching UZ Report World News Broadcasting with me, Davron Jumaev. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev has completed his visit to the southeastern Surkhandarya region. This trip can be called one of the most fruitful, as projects worth millions of dollars have been unveiled by the president. No district was left without attention. Let's see the details.
Surkhandarya region is expected to see the implementation of over 1,000 investment projects worth some $1.6 billion by the end of 2022. Nearly 25,000 new jobs could be created if all goes to plan. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, as part of his trip to the region during the first days of June, urged to accelerate the development of the construction materials industry, light, leisure, food, electrical industries, calling them the drivers of the economy. Mirziyoyev proposed to exempt the newly created enterprises in several districts from taxes until January 1st, 2024. He also instructed to compensate part of the transport costs and loan interests for exporters of construction materials. Local industrial enterprises engaged in the production of import substituting household goods are to receive benefits. Investment projects worth over $296.4 million are to be implemented in agriculture. Around $90.2 million is to be channeled towards the creation of greenhouses at an area of 1,000 hectares. Olive plantations would be established in Altinsay, Uzun, Bandikan, Deno, Jarkorgan, Muzbat, Termiz, and Sari Azia districts, and pomegranate gardens would be established in Sherabad, Muzrabad, and Kizirik districts. Shavkat Mirziyoyev got acquainted with apartment buildings in the city of Termiz. 9-story buildings with 208 apartments have been erected here. The exterior walls are lined with 3 layers, which ensures optimal temperature in apartments in winter and summer. Each apartment is equipped with an autonomous heating boiler. On the ground floors, there are shops and service centers. The houses are serviced by a special management company. It will establish the duty of electricians, plumbers, gas workers, and elevator operators. The management company also operates a training center where young people can learn working professions for the maintenance of apartment buildings. So families began to settle in these houses. Some of them purchased apartments on the basis of benefits provided by the state. The president visited 2 such families. In general, this year in Surkhandarya region, housing for 3,500 apartments is planned to be built. 1,406 families would receive subsidies for mortgages.
Uzbek ambassador to the USA and Canada, Javlon Vahabov, held talks with Anne McCrory, executive director of the Department of Immigration, Employment and Career Development of the Ministry of Immigration and Vocational Training of the province of Saskatchewan, Canada. Saskatchewan, with a population of more than 1.2 million people, is a Canadian province that borders the United States to the south. In 2019, the region's GDP reached $81.5 billion thanks to a strong agricultural economy, as the province grows a large portion of Canada's grain. During the meeting, Ambassador Vahabov spoke about measures of Uzbek government taken to streamline external labor migration as well as to improve the migrants' professional qualifications. He highlighted the embassy's readiness to further expand bilateral cooperation in the field of migration. In her return, Anne McCrory noted that despite hurdles created by the global COVID-19 pandemic, Canada's federal government plans to bring in more than 1.2 million immigrants over the next 2 years. This would help avoid labor shortages and ensure the economic recovery in the province. About 70% of migrants have joined the province's labor force through provincial immigration program that selects candidates based on certain criteria, including language proficiency. Anne McCrory expressed her readiness to assist in organizing the online meeting between Saskatchewan's Ministry of Immigration and Career Training and Uzbekistan's Agency for External Labor Migration under the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations that would discuss practical proposals on migration. As part of the initiative Green Uzbekistan, Huawei continues to work on projects devoted to the revival of the RLC region. The projects also involve the recently launched Green RLC crowdfunding campaign of the UNDP.
Projects include planting haloxylon on the dry bottom of the sea, the root system of a sand-loving, salt-tolerant plant reaching up to tens of meters in depth is able to prevent the release of toxic dust into the atmosphere, strengthen the soil, and protect it from rapid destruction. In general, this plant can become a real lifeline for the region.
Мы рады, что в этом году
Our plan is to continue to invest into this project and the development of the RLC region. We are happy that this year, UN took a step towards the resolution, since the area of RLC is becoming the place of innovations, both in technical and ecological fields. We are trying to grab the attention of the people towards this problem so that they could take active participation in this project.
Это очень важно с той точки зрения, что
The appearance of plants on the dry bottom is very important since they may prevent from diffraction process. We can still remember the cause of dust storm that happened on May 28 of 2018 and brought serious economic damage to the country. Despite this field brings the attention to the ecology problem related with negative causes of climate change and much more.
Мы, начиная вот с 2019 года,
Starting from 2019, we're making variety of experiments. Up until today, they are giving quite positive results, especially the Zeba component bringing 87% growth. We'll continue working on these experiments because this is very important for us. According to the science and highly qualified technology, we're able to put such method into the project. In 2019, the general director of UPL participated in the international forum, and then we became the developers of the Green RL project. We produce mineral fertilizers that help plants to bloom in places where there is a problem with water supply. That is, they do not need a large volume of water. These fertilizers can be used not only here in the RLC, but also throughout the territory of Uzbekistan, where there is a problem with the water supply of plants. The Russian company Panaplex is sponsoring the reconstruction of the Kora-Mazor Mosque of the Tashkent region. Thermal insulation boards produced by the company would serve the mosque for good.
The Kora-Mazor Mosque has long served the population of these places, but over time, the mosque building has ceased to meet the requirements of the time, and now a completely new building is being erected.
bir yerda bir 3 mahalla joylashgan.
There are 3 mahallas located here, and now a mosque that meets all architectural, sanitary and fire safety standards is being erected. The mosque is built only at the expense of charity. Among the sponsors is the company Panaplex. We would like to thank the management of this enterprise on behalf of the people and the mahalla.
On hot summer days, the air temperature in the rooms will be the same due to the air conditioning systems and plates. And in winter, the stoves will keep the building warm. In addition, this building material is considered an environmentally friendly product. The service life of the place is 50 years.
On the area of 1,452 square meters in the right part of the mosque and the roof with an area of 920 square meters, thermal insulation is planned to be laid. In turn, we would like to express our gratitude to the spiritual administration of Muslims of Uzbekistan, the leadership of the mosque, for providing an opportunity to make a contribution. After the visit of the President Shavkat Mirziyoyev to the Tashkent region, the reconstruction of 19 mosques was included in the plan. Our parishioners are to be able to visit the new mosque with all the amenities. Residents driving along the Karshi-Samarkand highway witnessed a fascinating picture on June the 2nd. They were caught on the way by a real dust storm, which has almost become a seasonal weather condition for Uzbek people. However, as some witnesses noted, it could have been smoke from a large fire. At the same time, according to the weather forecast, such natural phenomena usually occur in the region in spring and early summer. In our region, such processes most often develop in spring and at the very beginning of summer, when the air is sufficiently warmed up in the surface layer of the atmosphere and the temperature drops rapidly with altitude. Active vertical movements caused by thermal instability of the air mass usually occur in the afternoon. In the late afternoon and lead to the formation of cumulonimbus clouds and the development of squalls, Uzhydromet noted.
Nigerian police are trying to track the route kidnappers took with about 200 children that were seized in a raid on an Islamic school. The attack took place in north-central Niger State. The authorities have ruled out paying a ransom. Officials say a warplane was also flying over the area to try to spot them, while worried parents waited for news. Gunmen on motorbikes attacked the town on Sunday. One person was shot dead during the attack and another seriously injured. A local governor said they were trying to negotiate to see if the children could be returned. More than 700 students have been kidnapped for ransom since December, taken by armed groups after raids on schools and universities in Nigeria's violent north. While the government denies paying ransoms, it is widely believed they have in the past.
Benjamin Netanyahu, the longest-serving prime minister in Israeli history, appeared on the verge of losing his 12-year grip on power Tuesday. About 30 minutes before a midnight deadline, opposition leader Yair Lapid, a centrist, officially informed the country's president that he has reached agreements with political allies to form a new government, according to a party statement. President Reuven Rivlin, who was attending Israel's Soccer Cup final at the time, congratulated Lapid by phone, according to his office. Lapid's main political partner, nationalist Naftali Bennett, would serve as prime minister first under a proposed rotation between the two men. Their coalition government would comprise a patchwork of small and medium parties from across the political spectrum, including for the first time in Israel's history, a party that represents Israel's 21% Arab minority. But the fragile new government, which would command a razor-thin majority in parliament, was not expected to be sworn in for another 10 days, leaving slight room for Netanyahu's camp to try to abort it by turning lawmakers over to their side to vote against it. Israeli political analysts widely expected Netanyahu to try every possible political maneuver to make this happen. Last month, Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas engaged for 11 days in some of the worst fighting the region has seen in years, with both sides chastised by Western nations for the number of civilian casualties, including the deaths of at least 68 Palestinian children. Netanyahu, who was also prime minister from 1996 to 1999, has been an often polarizing figure at home and abroad. An end to his tenure may bring reprieve from domestic political turmoil, but major shifts in Israel's foreign policy appear less likely from the staunch U.S. ally.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump appears to have pulled the plug on his own blog a month after he launched it. The page, dubbed From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, as of Wednesday, no longer appears on his website. Billed as a place to, quote, speak freely and safely, the blog was a pathway for the ex-president to circumvent a social media muzzle. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube shut down Trump's accounts after a violent mob of his supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th in an effort to disrupt Congress from certifying Joe Biden's election victory. Trump's blog, launched in May, featured messages that could be liked and shared to Twitter and Facebook. Trump aide Jason Miller on Wednesday said From the Desk would not be returning. In an email to Reuters, Miller wrote, quote, it was just auxiliary to the broader efforts we have and are working on. Plans for the Republican former president to launch a social media platform have been teased for months by Trump's team, but with little detail.
JBS employees returned to U.S. meat plants on Wednesday, a day after the company's beef operations ground to a halt due to a ransomware attack believed to be perpetrated by a notorious hacking group based in Russia. At the end of remarks related to his administration's vaccination efforts, President Joe Biden was asked if he planned to retaliate against Russia for the second supply chain disrupting attack in less than a month.
Mr. President, will you retaliate against Russia for this latest ransomware attack?
We're looking closely at that issue.
Do you think Putin is testing you?
No.
Earlier, White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki said she expected Biden to discuss the spate of ransomware attacks with Russian President Vladimir Putin at their summit in Geneva on June 16th.
President Biden certainly thinks that President Putin and the Russian government has a role to play in stopping and preventing these attacks. Responsible states do not harbor ransomware criminals.
A source with direct knowledge of the latest ransomware attack told Reuters on Wednesday that the Russian cyber gang responsible goes by the name R-Evil, which attacked Apple supplier Quanta Computer earlier this year, demanding a ransom of $50 million for the company to regain access to its systems. The ransomware attack on JBS, the world's largest meat producer, also follows one in May by another group with ties to Russia against Colonial Pipeline, the largest fuel pipeline in the United States, which said it paid $4.4 million ransom to the hackers. Officials said JBS plants were expected to return to full capacity in the next couple of days, and the company said in a statement on Tuesday night that it had made, quote, significant progress in resolving the cyber attack.
Wall Street eked out minor gains Wednesday despite a big spike in meme stocks. AMC Entertainment shares nearly doubling in just one day to a record high. Investors defiantly bought the stock even after a hedge fund flipped the shares for a profit. The theater chain operator is embracing the little guy, offering free popcorn to investors. Another meme stock popular with the Reddit crowd, Bed Bath & Beyond, skyrocketed 62%. The home furnishing retailer said it would launch 3 new brands this quarter. But overall, investors were cautious ahead of key jobs-related data out on Thursday and Friday, picking up shares in defensive sectors like real estate and utilities. The Dow ended flat, while the broader indexes inched 0.1% higher. Sanders Morris Harris CEO George Ball says traders are searching for a catalyst.
They're bored, they're burned out, and they're looking for a new sense of inspiration or perspiration. And the markets really aren't going any place in particular. They're looking for a trigger.
Also on the move Wednesday, pot stocks. Amazon lit a fire under the sector after the retailer said it supports proposed legislation that would legalize cannabis at the federal level. Sundial growers shot up 13%. Aurora Cannabis added almost 8%.
These were the top headlines for today. Stay safe and goodbye.